We'll be interviewing as a team.
We're here to fuck shit up.
If worms had machine guns, then birds wouldn't be scared of them. You know, it's
They're here.
Hello and welcome, everyone. Wednesday night, it's Roto Slappers. I'm going to talk fast and try to get us moved into this quickly so we can actually get to the draft. And I can try to navigate this as best as possible, but you know who I am. I am Streets. I'm also joined by, next to me over here, the one, the only, Sean Michael Green. And I got a new intro for you today. So I hope you appreciate this as I play it real quick, because I want you to pay very close attention to the beginning really quick.
In other words, hold my hand. I think you're cute.
I love it, man.
So if you didn't notice, if nobody noticed, here, just the beginning real quick. That is your face AI.
In other words, hold.
So there
I
you
did
go.
Notice.
Okay.
That's impressive.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it.
I was going to joke and say I just found footage proving that you're like a time traveler from the guy stuck from 1912.
I got a book like Biff and Back to the Future, so I know everything. Got it.
And then below us tonight, her first ever appearance here on Roto Slappers. I met her in Vegas. April. Let's see if I can do this correctly. Balasquide?
Close. Balasquide.
Balasquide. It's Puerto Rican, right?
Correct.
April Balasquide. See, now I got it. And also, I do come prepared.
Yo, April! What it is? Yeah, we brought the dinner. Let's see.
See, I got an intro for you too.
I was very popular in elementary school because of that movie. Yes.
But how you guys doing?
Doing great.
Yeah, let's do this. Thanks for
Maybe do
having
some
me.
Mocking.
No problem. Now the fun part for me as we get right into a mock, because it's very hard. I was explaining this to Sean, to like drive a mock draft and talk and just keep talking when it gets quiet. So bear with me as we get this started here. And watch this. I got some.
Hey.
That's beautiful.
Oh, hold on. So now we're set up and ready to rock and roll, and we'll start talking as we get the draft going here. But I just wanted to get this going as quick as I can. And April, you're going first, anyways. So
I am.
I'm going to tell everybody.
This is my least favorite spot in a redraft, and I chose it to challenge myself. But this first pick is pretty easy, I think.
Is it though?
I think so. I think it is.
I think it's kind of universal. I mean, we got some special guests tonight, a bunch of Vegas people. We got Mr. Scampers, who we met in Vegas. This is my buddy here picking 3. I'm not sure who BW Kendrick is. We got the great Tim King next, followed by myself.
I should probably tell Blake is on the clock.
Yeah. We got old Mikey here picking at 9. Timbo, Spence, and Gator Raiders, who we met last year on the stream. Awesome guy. Follow him.
Blake just asked if it just started, so that's why I always give people like a minute.
Nah, we know April knows ball. That's why I had to pick a different division from her for my draft.
It's true. I was scared.
Year, she was sniping me all over the place last year. That was bad.
I think you were 4, I was 5. Is that, or were you 3?
I was 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this guy will make it back. Oh, April. You know, it is what it is. But I see Tyreek Hill going at 2.
Well, that's not bad.
You know, for my rankings, I had CeeDee Lamb. Well, Streets, he had He had Tyreek at 2.
He must have had a Q, huh? Because I don't think St. Brown was 4th.
He's having some problems. I know he was on.
Yeah.
I should have told Tim we were going. Tim is sitting out, but it's all right. I'll get them in
Yeah,
eventually.
time.
I'm not too worried about
All right,
that.
so talk to us about the Chicago
anyways.
Live. How was it?
Yeah. So SFB Chicago Light was actually a lot of fun. Massive. Six divisions this year. He figured it out. Okay. So Blake's on. Now I just needed to figure out for him. But anyways, a lot of fun. It was at a brewery. So this time it was like very strong beer compared to last year, where we were at like a sports bar where people were getting buckets. So it was like 6-7% type beers. So you got a little buzz pretty early as it kind of got going, which made you a little loose with picking. But but no, it was a lot of fun. Raised a lot of money. I did not win any raffles. Struck out at 2 of them.
None of us did.
But
SFB
it was
was
good.
not good to us.
And I
You're on the clock.
had a lot
sir.
of fun. I took a very big gamble this year. My strategy was like start with a nice base, get my so I went Lamar Jackson, Jonathan Taylor, start from the 3rd spot. And then after that, it was like, let me secure a tight end. And then from there, get my guys. I might have to reach around 2 or early. Well, I'm on the C. This is what happens. So I really didn't pay attention to ADP this time. And I kind of got everyone that's on my guy list. This is perfect too, because I just got another one of my guys right here in Brees Hall.
Love Brees.
So it was an interesting build. But I had a good time. I'll share it in a sec.
Good.
Too. I kind of planned for that one, but
What round are you guys in?
like 12th, because we barely have moved. We're
There you go. There you
moving
go.
like a snail pace now too since then.
Well, it's sad when
So-
it's over. So
It is. Now
It
we gotta
is.
wait till next year.
You
to
do
draft
all
it.
this, yeah. You all
yeah.
the chats, the mocks, everything's so fun, and then poof, just like that.
Although Mr. Scampers, I think he's drafting in LA this weekend, so he's still got something to look forward to. But for the rest of us, it's just we gotta wait till the season starts.
But I'll recap real quick. So April, you took CMC. You're not, man. If I get number 1 pick, I'm gonna take him obviously, but it makes me very worried. Like to take a 28-year-old running back coming off a 400 touch season, number 1 overall in fantasy. But I get it. You have to do it. Tyreek Hill, CD Lamb. You want to know what I like about Mr. Scampers here is that I have Hill ranked ahead of Lamb. So thank you, Mr. Scampers, for that. Amon-Ra, Jefferson. I knew you were going Bijan. Could have guessed
I
that.
mean, I
from a
know-
mile away, so.
Okay, so if you're worried about McCaffrey, who do you think you could pick? I don't see anyone you would want to pick over him.
No, you're right, and it's like that. You have to do it. No one's as good as him. No one touches the ball as much as him. It's just, maybe I just have I've been burned having the number 1 pick. I remember when I believe Jefferson was the safest it got last year as the number 1 pick, and we saw how that worked out. So and I finally got a number 1 pick last year, and that happened to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, you kind of got to do it. But as we talked about in the rankings, to be honest with you, I would take Bijan and Hall before I move on to any of the wide receivers. So.
He loves his running backs just as much as I do, but sometimes you got to take the receiver. And why am I not surprised that Spence took JT in round 1, even though he doesn't believe in him anymore?
It's crazy. I have him round 1. I don't think it's that crazy. He's going to get an RB1 workload, so I mean, it's kind of like.
No, I agree. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, but he got him. Of course, yes. JT was RB1 on his sleeper tag.
He doesn't believe in him anymore. You know.
Doc took Chase. I took Hall. Hall, my number 2 overall player, by the way, in my rankings. AJ Brown, Puka, Taylor. Well, this is pretty chalk first round. So now we'll see. It'll get interesting here as we get to the second.
Oh, he's bringing that up.
And we talked about it last week. I'm going to go Olave here. I expect that monster season out of Olave this year. They got Kubiak, the OC that I really, really wanted the Bears to get. I see a big yard after catch season incoming for Olave, on top of a heavy target share in that offense too. So, and Devontae, here you go.
Future 49er.
Yeah, how about that?
My app here shows still on the clock. I don't know what's going on.
You are
There
on
we
the
go.
clock.
No, I am going to take the guy that I said.
Oh, I thought you were going to take the guy who they're going to trade Devontae Adams for. Just right after him.
I have Kelsey's my tight end one this year, and you lock in a premium position. You essentially don't have to worry about tight end. I do play in a lot of tight end premium leagues, so I kind of lean tight end to this range. I mean, you can go other directions, but
I think I have 2 tight ends, I think, in each round that you could target in each round depending on who's there. But I'm not getting past the 3rd or 4th round without one because I'm not going to be one of those people left without.
Don't Skype me, Scampers. Don't do it.
he's going to go right here. We can see right now another one's going to go.
See, he's going to go in the 2nd round. There goes Laporta too. So
Give me all the Derrick Henry, all of it.
You want to know what I love? We're back to normal. No 3rd round reversal now, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a single QB. So
it always gets tricky.
But yeah, you're not worried about him holding out like even 3 or 4 weeks. Do you think they'll get a deal done? Yeah.
I'm not worried at all.
So
I do think that he is going to be. He has no leverage. He's going to be there. I mean, if he holds out, he loses money, and he's in a contract year regardless. He's going to be there. The Niners are notorious for paying their guys late July, early August, and Bosa went all the way into a couple of days before the season started there in September. So, in my eyes, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, not if.
You've been on that train that whole time. I'll give you that.
Oh, what?
Did you want me to redo that?
Nope.
Oh, that's you, huh?
Yep.
Oh.
I believe Trey McBride as well.
So even in
Trey McBride.
So just in a regular flex, one flex, you're okay going dual tight end still, huh?
I am.
Interesting.
I do strongly believe in my tight ends.
Let me talk to me
because
a little bit on that.
There's a tight end. There's a tight end cliff, and it's just a matter of what you believe in. I think for me personally, I'm a stocks believer in the top 3, whatever, top 4. Beyond that, I think and obviously, like I said, in tight end premium, it's more beneficial. But I think both Travis Kelce, he's locked in as the first option in Kansas City. Mahomes throws him the ball like crazy. McBride, I think he's probably going to be the number 1 option in Arizona. Marvin Harrison, we'll see. It depends on what you believe in that aspect. But there's value there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to be different.
I don't know with one flex. I don't know about that.
I'll give it to you.
You gonna start both those guys?
Mm-hmm. You better believe it.
I'd rather, go for it. I get it in like Scott Fishbowl, those formats, but not this one.
And I think
I gotta. Oh, you're good. You can keep talking. I'm just doing.
Oh my bad. I just think I think a lot of people sleep on their value.
Oh, hold on. Before I get to I got a new video for. While I go to the comments.
It's customers first.
Now let's get to him. Big old bully over here. He is a big old bully. That's for damn sure.
That's debatable. I mean,
there you go. See, Spence, every running back or wide receiver here will outscore McBride.
And that's fine. We'll see.
Yeah, so do I, Spence. See? Very ungood.
That is the beauty of fantasy football.
Sorry, Scampers.
Everyone can.
I was nice with the Porta, Scampers are saying, but you were not nice. Blake. There's
going
fantasy baseball technically in the intro. We need Blake to come back and revive that, though. I've learned it's very hard to do both. These days, especially. I don't know if do you have anybody here play fantasy baseball?
I used to.
Oh god.
Every year, and it's just too long. I can't do the daily moves.
The game's too in depth now. Too many advanced analytics you got to pay attention to. Too many people have it. Like edges on stuff. It got too time consuming for me.
Even basketball.
There's a lot.
Much. Yeah. All
Hey,
right, what do we got
Debo.
going on?
The 49ers wide receiver 1.
Where do you guys have Kittle in your tight end rankings? I think he's always undervalued.
He is. I mean, 6 feels right for him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd take
The
him
problem
over.
with Kittle,
Yeah.
you take him over who?
Kincaid, probably.
See, I like Kincaid more because he's probably going to be the number 1 target in Buffalo in theory. But I think for Kittle, the problem with Kittle is he's the 3rd or 4th option. Some games he's going to blow up, some games he's going to do nothing. But whenever Ayuk or Debo has missed a game, Kittle thrives.
5-ish. I'd have 7-ish. I don't know. Maybe it's format dependent for me. Maybe I actually still play in a non PPR league. Just yards and touchdowns.
See, those are tough. Those are really
Final
tough.
score is 25-17.
It's if you break 90, you have like a 60% chance of winning that week. That's how it goes. So it's kind of, in that I like it a little bit more. Oh boy.
Maybe I'm biased because I'm watching receiver.
Timbo out there
It's a
stealing.
great show.
They're just showing all his highlights. I'm like, oh, he's underrated.
Oh, you just took my guy. Snipe. Now you got to play that clip too.
I'm gonna play it as soon as I
Yeah.
getting sniped. I got sniped on Rashad White and DK and Metcalf. Man,
Hell no.
There it is.
both of them. It happened already. And this, I thought one of them would for sure make it back right there. I like, White in the 4th seems too good to be like that's.
The problem with White is
They're just begging you to take it.
They talked about lessening his workload. You know what I mean? So it makes it interesting. I don't know if Bucky Irving is going to play a bigger role. If they're going to do as many dump offs. Different offense now with Canales gone. I still like him though. I mean, he screams a value there. It's just, I don't know. It's tough.
Okay, well, I don't love my wide receiver options here. I guess that's the price I pay.
Kind of that dead zone now.
Yeah. Ugh. Maybe I go QB. I don't know.
We're kind of right there.
Golly. All right.
Box ticking, dude.
I know.
If we're doing the Ninja Turtles thing.
Old trusty, it feels like in him.
Yeah.
There's
Give me some wide receiver ones.
Nothing sexy about Amari Cooper. And I'm talking
That's
football
for
terms
sure.
here. But
Mm-hmm.
but he'll put up points. That's what he'll do. He's a nice safety valve wide receiver too when you need one.
I do love Christian Kirk. There's a lot of value there.
It's Scampers. You could swear on this show. It's okay. Go for it. I found a segue to use that.
Wow.
I was
This is
waiting.
like
I
a
was just
bad
waiting.
morning radio show with
Yeah.
sound effects.
I told him, I was
he's
like,
been
I'm going to
wanting-
try to
he's
find a
been-
way to get that in there today.
And me,
And
I'm
then-
like, you're never going to get to use that. Well, it shows what I know, right?
Well, Tim was here. There'd be a lot of
Oh.
swearing on it, so we'd probably have to.
If we love Tim, but when he's here, it's one of the beep, 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 beep. And then the beep, beep, beep. It's like, yeah. But thankfully, it's not one of those uppity shows. You can just say whatever you want. But yeah, that clip. I didn't think you'd get to use it. Little did I know.
I'll get to
You got the,
you
you
guys
got
in a
the
second.
perfect lob.
April, McCaffrey, Henry, Laporta, and then Cooper. And I could see just a picture. Kirk?
Yeah, Christian
My big
Kirk.
screen cuts off the last two teams. I think it does it for everybody. Okay, that's what I thought. Christian Kirk,
Yeah.
Mr. Scamples, bully wide receiver to start here. Hill, B.A. Evans, Devonta, James Conner. Touchdownosaurus. We have a celebrity with us, Michael Young, Rangers legend. That's Touchdownosaurus right there. Another bully wide receiver, Lamb, London, Collins, Flowers. Then he completes his little stack there with Lamar there at that turn. Blake autoed Amon-Ra, which is a good, probably the best auto you're going to get. Travis Etienne, who I like. Pacheco, I really, really like. We talked about him last week.
Yeah.
We got bold. I mean, there's a path. Actually, we're talking about it at SFB, the live draft. There was a Kansas City fan there. Like, he even said it like this little sneaky could be RB1 total by the end of the year.
I agree. I was hoping he made it back to me here in round 3, but 2 picks before.
Diggs, that one's tricky. I know you're a Houston fan, though, there, Blake, so you probably like Diggs. And then, obviously, Mixon also there. Tim somewhere out there. So hit the computer, Jefferson, Kyron. You want to know what's funny? The computer knows Tim very well because there's a good chance he takes Josh Allen in round 2 if he doesn't get automated. Yeah. Yes, that's how Tim is with Josh Allen. Neighbors and Walker, I don't know if he would have taken Neighbors. Hugo Bijan, Kelsey McBride, Mordell. Did it say that? I thought I played a clip for a second there. That's pretty cool. Hall, Olave, Andrews, Cook, Pickens for me. Brown, Barkley, Hurts, Pittman, Higgins for Dame Overboard. Nakua, Harrison, Kincaid, White, Richardson for Timbo. Spence, obviously, Taylor, Gibbs, Samuel, Cup, Mahomes. Our boy Gator Raiders then with Garrett Wilson, A-Chain, Kittle, Metcalf, and Stroud. So there's your recap so far.
I'd say Spence is my favorite lineup right now.
That's probably my least favorite.
I like it. He gets 2 first-round running backs in my eyes.
Yeah.
Right out the gate there.
Trying to see what spot is the best spot to have this year.
Honestly, I think you can make it work from any spot, really. It's just a matter of how you want to build your team.
Yeah.
It seems lately Bijan and Breece Hall have been sliding up. McCaffrey's going usually 1, or maybe CeeDee Lamb goes 1, and then you're seeing Bijan and Breece slide into that top 4. And some of the receivers are slipping down, which is a great value if you're near the middle. Towards the end of round 1, you're seeing the A.J. Browns, the Puka, Garrett Wilson. Just depends on how people want to start their teams.
What I love about mock draft, like finally getting back into this, after doing the initial rankings, like putting them on paper, and now actually applying it to like a draft like this. I can't apply it to because of the scoring of Scott Fishbowl and some of these other charity ones that are going on. The scoring's a little bit wonky, so like doing a mock like this, like you're gonna do in your home league, and comparing it to my rankings, I kind of dig that because it makes me have to adjust them now because there's guys that I think I have too high that I don't know that I could take if it gets to me at that point.
Right.
So I might have to adjust some of the stuff that we did those first 2 weeks. Because now I'm looking at it like, man, am I really going to take Puka over Garrett Wilson? That's tough now in my head. But I get it.
For me, I personally wouldn't. Puka's a really tough one for me this year.
I think I have him ranked higher, but I don't know if I could do it.
I think he's going to be fine. I don't know if he's worth the hype. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong.
Nobody wants these Bears players, Mike.
I know, and I don't think I do either. That's
I got one.
Yeah.
Expecting big things out of him this year.
It's just
I'll
so
go-
cold. I feel like it's hard for them to score points.
It's the beef I have with any team that has 3 wide receivers. I feel like there's just the spike. If best ball, sure, you'll get something out of them at some point. I just don't know. I don't want to be starting these guys when they see 2 weeks in a row of like 2 targets, and they like 3 catches for 20 yards for 2 weeks. The other one goes off. It's very frustrating.
No, I think there's a clear pecking order for the Bears. You know, it's going to be DJ Moore and Keenan. I think they're pretty much neck and neck. Just different. They just offer different things. You know, Keenan the possession guy, and then I mean I don't expect much out of Odunze this year, but we'll see. Speaking of the devil.
But they flew on a plane together. That means it's only
means
going to throw
everything.
him off. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if there's that clear pecking order though. That's my kicker in my head. Like, it's a new quarterback, right? It hasn't worked with any of them, so I don't know what the pecking order is. And I think the fluctuations week to week, it's just, don't get me wrong, you could be right. It could be DJ Moore, and it's just something. I learned this lesson last year, and I get it with Seattle, by the way. That's what I'm talking about. DK, Lockett, JSN. Even DK, what? For the first time, wide receiver 22 or something he finished as. Like, even though he's like, he was drafted well ahead of that.
And this is flying.
So I'd rather target, like, instead of Tank Dell, especially where I see that you took him there. Actually, all these, Houston and Chicago are very similar to me. Even Seattle, I kind of lump into that thing. Hold on, let me make this pick a bit.
You high on Brooks? What do you expect from him this year?
Yep. I expect the gamble now is going to be, is he ready in time? That for me, at least. But I think he will be. And once he is ready, you said it perfect when you were talking about Rashad White earlier, right? Who is his OC then?
Canales.
Yep. So the one thing we can go back and look at with him is how running back usage is kind of under him. And one guy's going to do all 3 downs for the most part. And I think Brooks is coming right in and taking over both of the Hubbard and Miles Sanders from day one. So I think we're going to see now I don't know how good the offense will be. A lot's going to rely on Bryce Young improving, but I do think you're going to see a heavy workload out of Brooks this year once he gets going. It might take a few weeks, so you might have to bench him, but I'll take him here and bench him while we get to that.
Scampers. That's good. That's awesome. Yeah,
But yeah, so
I don't know
what I
what
was
to
going to say is you're taking like Tank Dell. Like, I'd rather have Pickens in that round over him because he is the guy. And I think we're going to see a breakout season out of Pickens.
it's possible. There's just a lot of volatility there for me. You know, Pickens, he's a hothead. I mean, obviously, if he gets the ball more, which he probably will, with Russell Wilson.
With Russ,
You know,
look at the splits
I
when
can see it.
Deontay was gone out last year. Like,
Right.
He was a monster without Deontay on the field. So, like, and I like Roman Wilson as a Michigan fan, so do you. But he's not going to be some target hog in an offense. He's going to do a lot of the gritty, dirty things for the Steelers out there, like he did for Michigan. He'll make some big catches, but he's going to block, get in the he's going to do a lot of stuff you don't see on the stat sheet while he's out there. That's what he's going to do well.
I think the big thing with him is if Fields starts, I don't expect as good a season. But as long as Russell's in there, sure.
I think a lot of people are expecting. I know it was fun to draft Justin Fields because of the rushing and how like the SFB
Right.
scoring kind of is. But I don't think he's going to see the field. Like
They might. I mean, I was talking about this today. I think towards the end of the season, if they're out of it or Russ gets hurt, they got to put him in and see what they have with him since they made the trade. See
wanna
if
know
he
what,
is
though?
their future, maybe.
there's one thing Mike Tomlin never is out of it. He's like
No.
the epitome of 500 every year. So I feel like that's where they'll be again this year. So it's hard for me to see it unless he does get hurt. Then I could see that for sure. But that's
Yeah, I mean, Fields is interesting for sure. I don't.
he's
know
a more
as
fun
a
fantasy
passer.
option, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
Like when the games start, that's where we'll start seeing this stuff. Like they'll kind of get like, oh, he doesn't process. Like Russ is just a better quarterback. Don't get me wrong. When it's practice and you're watching like them just on a practice field, running, throwing, doing things without a defense out there, Justin looks great. Always has, even in his days in Chicago. Once the game starts, it's a whole different animal.
He's good at playing catch, you're saying?
Yeah, in a sense. Good at playing catch, runs fast, super fit, likes to post workout videos, and he's always training, stuff like that. Like off the field, amazing. Once the game starts, it gets a little hairy for him.
Once football starts being played, watch out.
The most important part.
I don't know. I think he got put into a crappy situation, but he didn't help himself out, Indy.
Yeah, the Bears, if they had all these weapons for him when he was there, who knows?
All right.
Let's see here. Do you like Scary
This is moving
Terry
right
this year, huh?
along.
Yeah, we're going quick.
What's
It's
up?
kind of nice. I see you took Scary Terry.
I did.
I feel like
I like that offense.
With Jaden.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to sling it. I don't know how effective he's going to be, but
Or is he going to run it? That's the other.
well, I'm sure he's going to run more. I don't know how many dump offs they're going to do. I can see more downfield throwing, but I mean, ultimately, I like him a lot. McLaurin, I also think Jahan Dotson will be bouncing back this year. I think Zach Ertz will have some value. I don't know if they're going to use Sinnott or Sinat. I'm not sure how you say his last name yet. I don't know how much they're going to use him right off the bat.
Sinat.
But he does he's a little bit of.
Well, they got Zach Ertz too,
right?
right?
Yeah. And I think Zach, he'll start the year. He knows the offense with Kingsbury, and, he did pretty well with him in Arizona. So, and he has a bunch of veteran, that veteran savvy, that, the presence. So we'll see.
He likes him here. There's Doc. Brooks is a dynasty buy. Redraft, I hold off. I disagree. There's only so many. Maybe, don't get me wrong, next year could be a bigger year for him, but I see by like month 2, if he's ready to go in camp, I don't see why he's by week 4, he's not unleashed out there.
Yeah, I don't see Chuba holding him back too much.
No. And we know Miles Sanders ain't. We saw that experiment. Yeah. And then Zamir White. I'll get to your squad in a sec as I get back to Zamir White here. Do you expect a Zamir White big year?
I think I've been a little too low on him. Right? They're going to run the ball.
Oh, yeah.
That's Antonio Pierce. They're going to run the ball. They don't have anybody else, really. I mean, Madison is not a threat. Unless they pick somebody up here and, after training camp, or they make a trade of some sort, he's going to run the ball. I think I've been a little too low on him, to be honest. I think he has some sneaky RB2 value. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how they're going to use him in that offense, but I assume he's going to get a lot of the rushing work. I don't expect him to catch too many passes, though. Same with Brian Robinson. Everybody's really high on Eckler, and I'm completely out on Eckler this year.
Yeah, that's a scary one. I agree with you on White as I was making a pick there. I might wait on Tua, by the way, if we were doing more than 10 rounds, but because we are only doing 10 rounds, that's the kind of guy that I'm probably targeting late. And I do like Jaden Daniels, by the way. So I'd like to do like a Tua Jaden Daniels like combo, and then take Jaden Daniels too late, and then you can kind of bank on the rushing and kind of 2 breakouts in one. Even though 2, I guess, not really a breakout anymore, but I do expect kind of a big year out of him for someone you can get that late.
I think it almost has to be a big year for him.
And then April, recap this team. Actually, I kind of like it. I like Hollywood Brown as a flex with the way it's kind of set up. I will give you that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
2
he's going to be the
big-time
guy
running
there.
backs.
Yeah.
Whenever you have 2 big-time running backs like that, you have a top tight end, and you have 2 like PPR safety net wide receivers. You could start there with a good quarterback. You throw that boom flex out there. That those weeks he puts up like 30 points in that offense are monster, and you can survive the weeks he puts up like 10 points as a flex option. So that's what I kind of like about that. And then I can't see Zach Moss, right? Okay, that's
Moss and then JSN.
You like Moss over Brown?
I mean, I don't really like either of them.
More of a
I don't know
estimate. Just try to get a body.
So. He'd probably get the goal line work, I would think.
And JSN, I like JSN this year too. I think we saw. Don't get me wrong, as Spence takes Lockett, right as I'm about to say it too. I do think those 2 flip this year. Especially with the offense that's now taking over there in Seattle. Kind of like a reason I like DK again, but a lot of people are getting on board with that one now based on the offensive scheme that they're going to run there. I mean, it's not for sure, but basically what everybody's saying is DK is just going to assume the Rome Odunze role from Washington in a sense in that offense. So
he's a clear-cut one for me.
Who, DK?
Yeah, I love DK this year. I think a lot of people kind of sleeping on him, and
they're saying it, but his ADP has not like shown it yet. It's nice. Like you could still get him. I got sniped by 1 pick in SFB trying to get him, but
I'm truly shocked by the way that Doc took Brian Thomas Jr.
No, so am I. If anyone was on that board.
Spence is wrong.
Wow, we flew through 10. I'll recap.
It's good.
That's pretty good.
It's good to be confident. But
that's nice, and then we can recap each build, so that's good. And I went Jerome Ford. I do not. I saw the workout videos for Nick Chubb. That's great. I'm glad that he's like squatting 1,000 pounds and stuff again. I also saw his knee literally explode like dynamite, and there's no possible way in my eyes that he's ready. So I will still take Jerome Ford over him.
All right, last pick.
Shakir, huh?
Sure.
Your Buffalo? Is that your Buffalo wideout if you're taking one?
Absolutely. I think he's their wide receiver one. I still think, like I said, I think Kincaid will be their main pass catcher. But Shakir, he did really well down the stretch when Joe Brady took over. And I expect bigger things this year. And for double-digit rounds, it's worth the gamble to me. So.
Before Brian Robinson, Blake took your guy there. I see that. Your Christian Watson.
Oh. Well, there's another guy I like, but we only have 10 rounds. Unfortunately, I can't take him.
He's gone up a little. He got a little.
Who?
Christian Watson. He's inflated a round or two now in ADP after people are starting to.
He's been going there between the sticks. I took him in round 8 in Scott Fishbowl.
All right, last pick.
Like Richardson's my favorite quarterback, and look at that. Good job.
Yeah.
You guys are fast. I put a minute clock. Is anyone playing? I am not playing NCAA.
Not yet.
I haven't got it yet.
I just downloaded it like Friday.
Was there any? So before I recap it here, Sean, any particular build you were trying to do here, or was you just taking BPAs as you kept going down?
For me, I always like to play the board. I don't like to come in with a set plan, like, oh, I'm just going running back early or receiver early. You know, I kind of feel like I want to build my team a certain way. In this case, I mean, with only 10 rounds, I kind of went hero running back. I I like my tight ends in this day. Pause. Kelsey, like for me, he's the number one receiver with the Chiefs. I think McBride's going to be 1A in Arizona. DJ Moore's the one in Chicago. I like the upside from Dell. But I mean, I hear you on Pickens. Dell and Stroud have a connection. So I expect him to have some bigger plays. McLaurin's the one in Washington. I like him quite a bit. Zamir, we talked about, his rushing work. Purdy, obviously, little homer pick, but a couple of the other quarterbacks that I was targeting went early. Brian Robinson's another guy. I think he's going to get a lot of rushing work. He won't catch a lot of passes, but I think he's going to be solid. And Shakir, I think he's the wide receiver one in Buffalo.
Nice. April. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I took the expected 1-1. I don't think I would normally take a tight end this early. I did it for ceremonial purposes because I'm a homer. And then I like Henry a lot this year. Typically, I'd probably try to get a wide receiver on that first turn there. What do you say?
He goes, I would have. Scampers was like, I'll be honest, I would have hated me for drafting this team.
Yeah, but waited on QB. I don't hate getting Dak in the 6th. I think people sleep on him still. He's usually around in the later rounds. Yeah, I don't love my wide receiver squad, but it might just be because they're boring, but I think they'll be productive. So maybe they're just not exciting, but I think they have high floors.
So that's like I was saying earlier, when you have two, if you play early running back right off the gate, running back, and we have actually, like, you took them at the turn. So I think both of us had Derrick Henry in round 2 when we did our rankings. So we have a second round grade for him. I do expect he's going to fall into 12, 13 touchdowns this season easily in that offense. So, but when you do have two monster running backs, though, I think like a PPR wide receiver like Christian Kirk fits perfectly.
Oh, perfectly. I love Kirk this year.
It's like a safe floor. You get your 10, 12 points no matter what. Score a few touchdowns. He'll have those bigger weeks too. Same thing with Amari Cooper. So I think it fits well. And the one thing we all did that I do like this year is we all waited on quarterback. And it just feels like this is the – last year I fell for it way too much. I think I got Hurts in too many leagues. And I know quarterback backfired badly last year. Everybody got hurt. Browning and Flacco were winning people leagues, and it just turned into a disaster basically for quarterback out there.
I won a dynasty league with those exact two quarterbacks. Ironically, I was like, I'm toast, and I made the playoffs and I won the whole thing with Flacco and Browning. So you just never know.
That's what I mean. So that's why I think we're back to late quarterback again. You don't have to go like late. I think you could wait 5-6 rounds.
You can,
before
like you said. I mean, last year they were all being steamed up into the. Some were going in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, and it's just like, if you want one of these top guys.
Would you have taken Kyler over Dak if he was there in that spot?
Probably. I'm pretty high on Kyler this year, but Scampers swept in there and took him. But I'm not upset with Dak. I'd be happy with that, either one.
Yeah, I love Kyler's like a discounted version to me of Hurts and Lamar. Like, you can get him later than both of them. And I don't know if I obviously expect both of them to finish higher, but I don't know how much higher they finished than Kyler this season. He also has 2 tremendous weapons, rushes the football. I could easily see a top 5 another season out of this guy again. So nice little late. I guess 6 is pretty late for him too. So yeah, that was good.
Well, April, how do you feel about Hollywood Brown? What is your take on him?
I mean, I think he's the guy there. I think he's going to have some monster weeks, probably some long touchdowns, maybe. Yeah,
that's what I was saying. I think
he's
a perfect flex option in that offense to me. When you have a good team, you could flex Hollywood Brown each week, and you're going to get those monster weeks where he probably wins you your week, and then at the very minimum, he's probably still going to catch 4 passes for 50 yards as a floor each week with Patrick Mahomes. So then you still get the floor there. I think Worthy's going to return kicks, and he'll have spike weeks too. But I think his speed is going to be, like we talked about it, right? Like more like a decoy out there. for that offense. But with all that
At least
speed
for
out
this
there,
year.
again, whew, that speed is definitely going to open things back up for Kelsey. And Rashee Rice, at this point, might not even get suspended. Crazy.
Yeah, we'll see. It's very up in the air.
I hate going down those roads too with those guys. So playing that legal game kind of bothers me. Doc, you're here. 3 wide receivers to start, huh? That's not.
But I mean, it's not like it's not like he's
buddy.
hurting on any other
No.
position. Like it worked
No,
out.
it's solid all around.
I will say this too about Doc. If he didn't take Waddle, I would have taken Waddle over Andrews there. So that's who I was going to take. And then obviously when he took Waddle, I moved back to we were done with. I was thinking I can get DK after. I didn't. My gamble didn't work out, but yeah, I would have taken Waddle there, and I would have pushed tight end back to the next round, maybe even 2 rounds to the Pitts Ingram level. But once all the guys on my board for that I have a round 3 grade win, I was like, let's do it. That's how I'm taking tight end this year. Kelsey Laporta end of round 2. I think I had him back to back, and then we move into the McBride Andrews in round 3 for me. Kincaid, I don't. So when we do rankings, by the way, Kincaid's not going to be there till round 4. I don't know where you're going to have him, Sean.
Who Kincaid?
Kincaid, yeah.
I mean, well, it depends on the format. I would push him probably another round or so in this, in just a standard PPR, yeah. But you're getting that locked in value there, and it's just like I said again for tight ends. I think is something that people kind of overlook. Because it's not the sexy position. It's like, I'll just pass. But they're going to score a lot of points. And when you have an elite tight end, I mean, you don't have to worry about it. Other people are chasing points there.
I'm okay usually waiting on, it's one of those years where I think I just want to get the tight end done and get it out of the way. This way, every team's going to have one, it feels like. There's 7 to 8 good ones to me. In Freiermuth is the Patty French Fries is the one guy. By the way, I would take Patty French Fries over Goddard, who went. I saw 2 rounds ahead of him. I would.
Freiermuth, I think he's the baseline. That you don't below that. You're just, I like him a lot this year. Actually, he's the kind of guy I think for Russell Wilson he'll target.
Well, look at
obviously we talked about Pickens, but
yeah, it's Arthur Smith. I think so. I'm not the one who said this. So it's I forgot who said this. It might have been Jeff Mans, and I was listening to it, and I actually agreed with it to a T. Because if you look at it last year, Kyle Pitts, it's not that he just wasn't on the field enough. Jonnu Smith was on the field way too much last year. That was half the problem. So they still targeted the tight end in that Falcons offense 100 times. They got 100 targets that went to tight ends or something last year, or over 100 targets. So that the Arthur Smith offense is not bad. Now you take the personnel decisions out of his hand, right? That's what's nice about Arthur Smith now in Pittsburgh. He's going to go
just run the offense.
He's not going to get cute. He has a head coach. I think Jeff Mans was the one who said he tried to get cute because he didn't believe in himself or he was nervous of something. So he would take Bijan out when they're on the 5-yard line and then bring in basically when he goes to Mike Tomlin now, he's going to say, hey, let's do this. I'm going to take out Freiermuth and we're going to go to this. Or we're going to Pickens, we're going to run a play for whoever the third wide receiver there is instead. And Mike Tomlin's going to look at him and go, no, this is what we're doing. Our best players are going out there and running a play for our best players. So you take that out of him now where he can't get too cute anymore. It's kind of like more of the Tennessee days with Arthur Smith, which was still a pretty good offense. So you're triggering my PTSD.
Yeah. Arthur Smith PTSD. Yeah.
I know he killed us last year, but I don't think the offense is fantasy bad. I don't think it's bad for fantasy football. I think it'll be pretty good. And then
actually, I have another.
What the hell was I going to say? I forgot.
I wanted to ask April though. Why Charbonnet with your 10th pick? What about him do you like?
I think it's good value in that round. Walker usually misses a couple games a year. I think he could also start getting more and more touches. And could even end up being the RB1 there by the end of the year. So I think it's good value in the 10th round.
I can see a split workload with those two. I think Charbonnet obviously he's probably a better pass catcher. Walker obviously get the dirty yards and probably the goal line work, but yeah. Because where did Walker go? He went 5th round. And you're getting a guy who could come in pretty close to that. 5 rounds later. This cost is great.
I love Kenneth Walker, the player. I'm worried more about now the coaching system, new coach, everything that's in place there. More of like the 50-50 split. Like, I don't know how Kenneth Walker in the 4th, 5th round getting you 60 yards a week. I don't know who's going to cut it. Touchdown dependent, it seems, at that point. When you could get the next guy like 6 rounds later.
Yeah.
That's which sucks to say. I hate that. I have so much Kenneth Walker in Dynasty too. He became so cheap.
I was reading Scampers, he was saying he would hate himself for drafting this team. I think it's pretty solid. I mean, you have 4 elite wide receivers. Connor is fine as as your one. Kyler.
It's like a hybrid 0 RB, right? Hybrid in a sense.
Right. You got, you have a great tight end one, I think. D-Hop's got some value. I like Gus a lot this year. I think he's going a little bit later. But I think, it's the Chargers went and got him. Obviously, the Harbaugh's talk. Jim always follows John, and I'm sure John reached out and said, Gus is a good guy. If we didn't want Derrick Henry or we didn't get Derrick Henry, we'd be fine with Gus coming back. And obviously they signed Dobbins. Health issues aside, they're going to run the ball. And Jaden Daniels, he's such a wild card. Like you said, I see him running the ball, but I also see him slinging it down the field as well. It's a bag. You just shake it up and see what you're going to get because you never know each week. Rookie quarterbacks. The same thing with Caleb. I mean, I think
Caleb's walks into lots of weapons. They had it made.
Right. He's good enough with what he has there. I don't know if he's going to be elite right away, but he's got plenty of players around him. His job is easy. Just get the ball to your playmakers.
But Jaden, you're right. Jaden's going to run the ball a lot more than Caleb. So he'll make up for it. The rushing quarterbacks are the cheat code.
And he got 2 of them. I mean, so, Tyler, I was kind of hoping he might make it back to me, with the stack with McBride. But, I like Kyler, like you said. I think he has sneaky value. He could probably finish top 5 this year.
He did say this, too. In reality, I'll take Stafford after round 10. Maybe pair him with Jaden Daniels. It's not a bad move.
Yeah, like you said, Jaden just has to stay healthy.
Yep. You go like rounds 10, right?
Small.
It reminds me of what I used to do back in the day. Not rounds 9, 10. I used to go like Phillip Rivers and whoever. And those would be my 2 quarterbacks that I would just take him in rounds 9, 10. Then you had 2. You could play them matchups. Like neither one was great, but they both gave you 16, 17 points in 4 point per touchdown leagues. I know that's still pretty popular. Everybody's going to be like 4 point leagues. But yeah, that's kind of how. I don't mind.
Do you guys typically draft 2 QBs in a 1 QB league?
People will tell you shouldn't. But if I take Hurts or Allen or Lamar or any of those guys, no, probably not. But maybe late, once we get to like
the Will Levis range, perhaps.
Yeah, something like that. Like I'll take a gamble, maybe Drake May with one of them at that point because Drake May runs also. So Drake May might get you a couple rushing yard points.
Yeah.
And that's the thing for me.
Yeah, but otherwise, no. But if
you're playing for money,
I don't know. Last year you might need to because last year it showed you could take a pocket quarterback and it'll still screw you. It still get hurt. So maybe that is the way to go. But I don't mind doing it if I'm taking a quarterback in like round 9. Yes, I'll take 2 quarterbacks. Like I was saying too, Tua, Jaden Daniels to me is like a nice combo that I would target to.
The only problem is then you have that situation where you like, who do I play this week, and you end up starting the wrong guy. Sometimes it's better just to get that locked in one and then just have a solid backup for a bye week or maybe some injuries. But me personally, I don't want to play the roulette game. I've done that and it's backfired for me every single time.
Yeah, I don't know. I usually go 1 QB, 1 tight end, and if I need to, I go to waivers and just try to take shots on positional players in those late rounds.
Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
I'll go.
Wendy.
Chi-Town. This is Wendy. Pleasure seeing her, by the way, last Sunday. So that was fun. But So I saw what Spence said, and he was like, "Play get." See, my issue with this now is though, like, I feel like even with us, sure, I think it works. And like your typical home league, with like when you have 6, 7 people who don't play often or like aren't degenerates at it, it's like they've all became everybody's taking 2 quarterbacks now. So it's almost like the smart thing to do is just wait for waivers. But at the same time, everyone's rostering 2 to 3 of them now for no reason and stashing one on the bench. That I'm just not going to get left out with nothing for scraps on waivers. That I'll take a 13th round pick or something like that and go grab my my second quarterback.
Yeah,
Hi,
and it
Wendy.
depends on the league format and everything else too. Who knows? If it's a deep league, I would just rather have just 2 guys on my roster so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
That's
Like you just said it though,
personally.
Will
That's my
Levis is going to
strategy.
get drafted. There's 24 quarterbacks are going to get drafted in a home league, typically. I just don't want to be the one who's stuck with Gardner Minshew then on waivers. Like I'd rather.
Or if you're at
Who
the
cares if I'm
Vikings.
using an 11th or 12th round pick on one? I get it. I get why people don't want to do it, but yeah.
And same, like April mentioned with the tight ends.
Is it
Obviously,
also?
if you have an elite tight end, you don't necessarily have to take a second one if you're going to start one. If you decide to go my path and start 2. But other than that, I wouldn't on this team. If we were drafting, 8 more rounds, I wouldn't take another tight end. I'll just take those 2, and that's it.
Yeah, see,
But I would have definitely drafted another quarterback.
That's why. See, people just hoard them now. It's just how it is in these home leagues, and like I know he said it's a roster spot, but like a lot of my leagues now have IR spots, or at least one, and someone's gonna get hurt. So I know like I'm gonna have an IR spot that I'm gonna move a guy to anyways, and it opens up something to pick up a waiver wire player. So I'll find a roster spot for that second quarterback. There's no problem there, especially over someone that's gonna collect dust that I'm never gonna use regardless.
Your 6th or 7th running back is probably never going to hit your lineup. Same with receiver. It's nice to have those dart throws when you get a guy like last year. Everybody's getting Puka late. Is there a Puka this year? I don't know. That's to be determined.
You're chasing unicorns if you're looking for the next Puka, like the rarity of that.
See, like if you see it in the chat. Oh, Michael, like he said, exactly. And then even Scampers, same thing.
Yep. See,
they're getting smarter about the high upside QBs.
Like who you draft? Like, I'm good on. I'm trying to think of names out there right now that you're going to be drafted in like the 14th round. Let's see.
It all depends on the format.
Like I'm not like J.K. Dobbins, I'm good. I'd rather have a second quarterback than J.K. Dobbins. So like I'm not going to draft J.K. Dobbins just sit at the end of my bench that never gets used, or I drop him in 2 weeks, and then what if say I got to drop him in 2 weeks and I don't have that second quarterback? That's just the only thing. If people weren't hoarding quarterbacks, it'd be a whole different ballgame. But that's changed now, and everyone wants to. So I think like Michael said, you don't want to be the guy sitting there left, or Doc said you don't want to be the guy sitting there left without one.
Well, right, and like if you have a guy like Jalen Hurts or Jared Goff who has a Week 5 bye, and you feel comfortable, you draft 2, you play the guy Week 5, and then you want to drop him. I mean, that's fine because you have your guy the rest of the season. Typically the injuries have gone up so much these last couple of years. I don't know.
I feel like
I'd rather have that insurance.
Spence, this used to be the case. I agree with you on this. Like I remember Phillip Rivers. If I didn't draft him, someone else would, and I feel like every year somebody would drop Phillip Rivers, and you could pick him up by week 9, and then he'd always be good for the rest of the year. So I feel like those days have changed though, because people hoard them now. So they're harder to get even on waivers. They're there. I'm not saying every league's the same, but I see more trades now for quarterbacks like QB2s than I have in recent years too. And I really don't want to trade for one. I hate that. I'd rather just find someone later and put him there. There was one thing I did. You were talking about Gus Edwards. If you know Jim Harbaugh, you know he's going to run a lot. And I think Gus is going to be the guy that does the most of it there. So, yeah. I think where Mr. Scampers took him to right there at around pick 100. Perfect. I don't know if you're going to find someone, him, Brian Robinson, those types of guys. I do want to ask Michael, though, real quick, because he took Pollard, if he likes him at all. or was he just the guy there that, like, who he signals as best player available?
He's a Cowboys fan. He loves Pollard.
No, that's why then. I feel like Pollard's on like my DND list this year. I do not draft under any
I
circumstances.
prefer Spears to Pollard myself.
Yeah, although there's upside
they're-
there. That's why. Even if they're both splitting the load, one of them at least has some upside.
Pollard burned me last year. I was very high on him. And then
He says at cost, I'm getting him. Doc likes the bus. See? Gus the bus. Gus the bus in a Jim Harbaugh offense is scary. He's gonna run the football.
realistically, 10 touchdowns, right? That's feasible.
Really easily. And
We all know.
The best part about Gus, or the best part about Jim Harbaugh, is like he's not going to throw the football when they're losing either. That's not what he like down. They could be down 21-7, and they're going to run the football still. So Gus is getting his workload every single week, regardless of what that score is too. So I do like Gus. That's one of those late round guys that I do like. I like him. I group him in the Brian Robinson, Devin Singletary type group. So I kind of workload, not a sexy offense, but a volume back.
Well, see, and that's the thing with Singletary. I think the Giants went out and got him. Who else do they have? Tyrone Tracy. I think Singletary is going to get most of the work there, and I think he could be a really good value late. Yeah, exactly. 13 touchdowns. Why can't he get 10? Season. At least 10.
Yeah, that makes sense too there. Perfect. But what's it called? And then Tyrone Tracy, I think is just too. I think he's fresh in our heads because of Scott Fishbowl, because of the whole kick return thing. I think everybody's overdrafting him. I see him going. He went in like round 11 in mine. Tyrone Tracy did. Like I'm good. I don't even think I'm going to draft him in any regular PPR league, and until I see something out of him, I am good on that one. Yeah, mostly Gus and Vidal. Yeah, Vidal, the other one I like. There's nothing I like about J.K. Dobbins this year. Thank you.
Nope.
Poor guy. My worst ever tell you the worst dynasty trade I ever made involved J.K. Dobbins. I think I told you that a week ago, or 2 weeks ago. I traded away. I thought Travis Kelce was getting old at 30 years old or something, 31 years old. And I traded him away for Noah Fant and J.K. Dobbins after that nasty second half that J.K. had. Worst dynasty trade it turned out to be, and Doc knows what I'm talking about now too, that I've ever made.
You should be ashamed.
Ivan, what's up, buddy? Any other values you like as you start looking at redraft boards here now?
April, what do you think?
The more I look at it, I think I like Team 7 the best here. You got Mostert there in the 8th round. Brian Thomas could have a big role. And even Swift in the 7th. I think he's going way too late.
You just made his day with the Brian Thomas
comment.
I don't know if there's a bigger Brian Thomas fan on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that because I just traded for him in Dynasty, and I want it to come into fruition.
I can see it.
No, that was redraft though, at least, so I didn't have to deal with that. I had made a trade I don't even want to bring that up. That
another one.
That was a
Nick
horrible trade when it happened, but it was marking him for Adrian Peterson. That was like
Chubb and Hawkinson about round 10. They're both auto drafted, but
Hawkinson, you don't think he'll come back, huh?
I do. I just don't know.
Too late by then, right?
I mean,
I get in this habit every
round
year.
Round 10 is too early for me.
I always take these guys that clog my bench. Is what happens. Like they don't play for 2 months, then they're just and I need spots, and then I don't know who to drop. I'm not doing that this year, so I'm kind of agree with you. Like I'm not going down the road of anybody that's going to start on the pup. I'm not taking that, and he's definitely headed to the pup. So what is that? 8 weeks? Why draft Saquon when you can draft? I don't. Well, all right, I do like DeAndre Swift, but I don't know if I'm going to go that deep here, people.
Yeah, 10 out of 10, but.
look at like Miles Sanders and some of these other guys, what they've done with Philly, and now they have the most talented back that they've ever had.
One guy, he said
they
he
also
think-
have one guy. So
he said he thinks Swift is this year's Miles Sanders. So we'll see.
ooh, who
I'm not that low on him personally, but I can't get it out of my head now.
I don't even think they're the same kind of running back.
No,
I just think
There's-
the contract they went out and paid him.
Yeah.
You know, this is the situation. But
Yeah.
no, I agree with you. I mean,
They
Swift,
don't-
I think he was good when he was healthy. A decent year for Philly.
Tim and so we used to scream this last year, Tim and I on the pod. We did it before the season started. We did it during the season. We did it all the time. People outside of Chicago think that Khalil Herbert is the guy. Like he was going to be the guy. Look at how good he is, his efficiency. And we tried to tell you, they don't like him. So they never, and he's not their guy. They don't like him. They were never going to use him. And sure enough, that's kind of the case. He's hurt too a lot. Like even when they try to extend his workload now, he gets banged up and he misses games. So I do think DeAndre Swift is going to be the lead back there. And I think Roshan will spell him. So you're a Lions fan, right? So isn't DeAndre Swift, wasn't he supposed to be a really good pass catching back?
I mean, I think he was. He had some injury
Even though he
issues.
never did it last year in Philadelphia. Kenneth Gainwell seemed to do it last year all the time for them. So that's the part I was a little confused on, that they kept bringing in Kenneth Gainwell on third downs when Swift was supposed to be this elite pass catching back that I had thought. At least when I'm not like a scout, but at least when I know choosing them in Dynasty, that's what I had read.
He kind of showed a different side, right? He was running good, between the tackles. So if anything, it showed that he can do more.
My giant bags of Roshan Johnson hopes that's the case. I do think that's the case. I do think it's going to be a lot of DeAndre Swift early, and I think it's going to be a lot of Roshan on third down. None of them are great pass blockers, but I think Roshan, even though he's not great at it, is the best one out there. But
Yeah.
oh, that's fun.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Spence said, let's turn it into a best ball league just for fun and just see how it plays out. What the heck? Make it interesting.
Hopkins in the 6 could be a great value and a quick drop candidate if he's cooked. Don't think so. I like Will Levis. I don't know. They got some stuff to work with there. Hopkins could be one of those other, like Robitussin. That's the phrase I use. It's like Robitussin. Nothing's gonna pop out that he does out there anymore, but he'll put up numbers. He's like his days of the big, like 1,400 yards, 8 touchdowns are probably over with. But when you look at the back of his football card, somehow it's still like 80 catches for 980 yards or something like that when the season's over, which is still useful. So, yep, I do kind of agree with that too. Here we go. Coaches must hate DeAndre Swift. Red flags. Oh, because he's on his third team now. In 3 years there?
They just hate paying him.
That's the set. Yeah, I know most teams do hate paying a running back. The Bears were in just a peculiar spot because they had all that money, and a running back's just easy to pay short term.
Right.
So when they need money in 2 years, they don't have to pay. They're not going to be paying Swift anymore, so it doesn't really matter. So he just kind of fit into their plans this year. That's kind of probably what it was. I'd keep my team. Let's finish the draft and make it.
We did finish.
I don't know if I can add around. Maybe I can, but I could turn this just into a slow best ball. But your favorite. Did I just hear a slow draft, Sean? A slow draft?
Don't.
I hate everything. I said I hate everything. I better just go back to bed because today I hate everything.
Exactly. Don't do the slow. Don't do the slow, please. I'm done. I've already dropped out of Warrior Bowl because it's slow. I'm not doing slow. I'm not doing manage beyond my high stakes. I'm done. Just give me home leagues, high stakes and home leagues, and that's it. I don't want any more slow drafts.
If I can add rounds, I can make it like a.
I'm putting myself on auto.
But that's what I'm saying. You could just put yourself on auto anyways. It's the bench. He's not saying Swift should be a second rounder. I'm saying Saquon being one is a surprising thing. I don't. Yeah, I'm not gonna take Saquon around 1, but I will
No, he's
take him in
early.
2.
Early too, absolutely.
I do not mind that. I think Saquon can look. There's a top 5 finish in him. There's a path to it easily. It's not. We just talked about it with Swift. Somehow Kenneth Gainwell saw way too many targets. But if you take out what Kenneth Gainwell got target wise and what Swift both saw, which I think is going to be the case with Saquon Barkley, you're going to get 250 carries, 80 targets next. That's a lot in that offense. So, and we're coming off 2 years ago. Miles Sanders scored 10 touchdowns. There's a path to be a top 5 running back. But he's also old. And there's one thing who's the one who always posted Ian Hartz? I think he's the one who always he shares this every year during free agency, and he shows you all the running backs that signed a big deal with their second team. And the list of the ones that panned out, there's like none. That's the scary part. So I do get the other end of that too. Pacheco, Cook, Jacobs, Mixon, Walker, and White all outscore.
That's a tough one for me because I really like Barkley this year. I think he's going to score double-digit touchdowns. I think they're going to do less tush push. I like him a lot in that offense. Best offensive line he's ever had. Best offense he's ever had. Best team he's probably ever been on. I expect big things. He's going to buck the trend. There you
go. Yeah, I don't agree with Walker. We just talked about that one too. Mixon, I like the offense, but I don't know if there's another. Efficiency has never been his thing now for a few years. And I don't know if there's going to be enough there. I like the other guys, though. Cook, Pacheco, and Rashad White, certainly. We've definitely seen it before. But you got anything else?
Good.
I'm trying to get through all these comments, what people are talking, so that's good.
It was fun. It was a good time. I'm glad everybody could join us. It was good.
Oh,
I'm happy we had a new guest here.
I know.
Yeah, that was my first 1 QB redraft mock this year, so it was my first time kind of seeing how things fall. That was fun.
It was mine too.
Yeah.
So now it's like ripping the Band-Aid off. That's my favorite part of that. And now I could like recalibrate my rankings in my head as I see it like all spill out as I'm like, I don't think I could take this guy over this guy. Like I wrote it on paper all of a sudden. What about you, Sean?
I feel good about my team. I feel good about this draft. It's a little bit of information, you know. Like everyone has different perspectives on different players and different grades on everybody. You know, there's always different perspectives. So, like Michael just said here, you know, when you have money on the line, maybe you're a little more risk averse.
Thank you, Dane.
Thank you, and Scampers for joining us. That was awesome. Appreciate
Scampers,
that.
yeah. Thank you. And Michael Young, Rangers legend, baby, in the house.
Yeah. Hey, what about me?
All because of that.
Dodgers, Mets.
Oh, yeah.
Blue Jays.
You're the Dodgers. Shawn Michael. You have
wrestler.
like a dual.
I mean,
your whole name works.
Not everything.
And I do think Spence had one more. Don't let Addison fall because of the DUI stuff. Well, I kind of agree with them. As long as he matures and like it's a wake up call and nothing else happens to him. I
don't think it is. It's already the second time. No dog emergency.
I'll let him fall because he has a bad quarterback and is second to Justin Jefferson.
Exactly.
I just like his head coach throws the football 50 times a game regardless. So like if he's out there, I'll like him. And if I'm getting him in like the 12th round right now, why not? I'll stash him on a bench somewhere in hopes maybe you're not a JJ McCarthy fan.
No, not really. I thought he was maybe the worst part of that Michigan team. Yeah.
It's funny. We said it last week. It was like he goes from the most run-heavy, never had to pass a football offense ever into this get ready to throw the football 50-time offense now. Like the complete opposite of what he had to do in Michigan is where he walks into now in Minnesota. If you think Kevin O'Connell's running the football, it's not going to happen. So that'll be interesting. but at least the volume will be there. Yeah. Where can they find you? That's what you're supposed to say too, Sean. You know that.
April.
Oh, I was talking to you, Sean.
Oh well,
Oh, me.
Yeah, you were the one who was just talking. So I'll get to her next then.
For me, the green one, THA_green_1 on the X machine. You can find me on this channel every week if you'll have me back.
No problem. See, Sean, I was picking on him, April, because he's supposed to lead by example. He knows
I don't
supposed to
do that.
part.
That's not my thing. We'll let the host
Where can
do
they
that.
find? I'm not. Look, I just host is like a very loose, like definition of what I do here. I guess it is. I hit the buttons, like I hit go live,
And
I
the
do a
videos
bunch
you
of other
create are awesome.
shit too.
We appreciate
Yeah, see,
it.
I do. Yeah, that part I can dig on that, but host that's borderline. That's debatable, but yeah, go ahead, April. I'm cutting you off.
If you enjoy retweets of Dan Campbell commentary, I am at April Balaskide on Twitter. That's the majority of my content.
Who the heck wouldn't like
almost spit my
retweets of
drink
Dan Campbell content? Dan Campbell's the best.
Yep.
You can find me at Streetsathon. As you said, usually posting some weird video of some sorts that I'll some obscure 90s content that I usually find.
Very.
We were talking on the pre-show fist fight about basically that, and it was like teaching the kid now, like enjoy the commercials when he wants to skip them nonstop, like skip, because everything is YouTube TV or whatever in YouTube. And I was like, you're just enjoy it now, because in 30 years you're gonna literally be YouTubing the commercials that you're skipping right now that you hate, and you're gonna go back trying to remember all those commercials like I do as I pull all these videos together. But anyways, that was fun. We'll do it again. I gotta find.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No, thanks for coming
Thanks
on.
for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming to the trailer park of fantasy football
Yeah.
shows. We know you,
Yeehaw.
and everybody that was in the comments that was watching out there. We thank you too. We
Appreciate it.
we know you have many options when it comes to flying for fantasy football. So we thank you for choosing our rickety airline with their Boeing falling apart. And now, once again, I'm doing it this week like I was doing last week. I'm trying to kill time to find the outro. So I'm just blabbering on. I found it. There we go. Peace.